the final reckoning, more like the final nostalgia.
Ooh, that's a hot mug, guy.
Now, after that weird kind of little bit with them going from Dead Reckoning Part 1 to the Final Reckoning, now admittedly, I still think that the first one is like Part 1 is really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it had great stunt sequences. Sure, is the entity thing kind of silly? Sure, but then you start seeing just how much the AI stuff is getting out of hand, and just, it's not unbelievable. Is it Hollywooded? Absolutely. There's so much exposition dialogue about the entity and everything at the beginning of this movie that you will roll your eyes into the back of your head. It wasn't just because of the entity, but there was also a lot of the story going on, like this overall massive exposition dump, basically tying in everything from the previous movies, or as much as they could, into this. They somehow make a connection to the third film being the catalyst for the entity, which I kind of groaned out loud when I heard it. Admittedly, once they get that over with, the movie gets pumping. It does not let up. And while this movie is certainly 3 hours long, I will admit, I think the pacing is very good, even with the first hour, and you're hearing that, the first hour being kind of because of all the exposition dump, all the nostalgia dumping. And the nostalgia dumping doesn't end just after the first hour. It still finds its way into the film throughout, but it works really well, surprisingly enough. You definitely feel that this movie is made for people over 30. And the reason why is that there were a lot of jokes, one of them just involving glances and kind of shoulder shrugging for a good 30 seconds. And I could hear all of the older people in the theater laughing. That was how I knew. And I thought it was kind of funny too, but it definitely felt like, they know what they're tapping into. They're not even trying to go after younger people. I think that the point of this movie that Tom Cruise and Christopher McGuire were trying to do is just make something very entertaining. And just like the last 4 Mission Impossible movies they've made. And that is definitely done with this film. Is the overall grand scope of this like a pretty big woohoo? Yeah, because the whole idea is the end of the world via nuking. There are so many connections to Terminator in this movie. If James Cameron watches this movie, he's going to be like this for quite a bit of the movie. Tom is trying to stop the entity from taking over every single nuclear arsenal across the planet, destroying the entire world, but then also finding a way to save itself by going into this bunker. All the while, there's the Gabriel guy who has been betrayed by the entity and is trying to betray the entity back. And then there's a splitting of going after the submarine that sank in the first film while also going to an Arctic research center. And then it all ends with them in South Africa and the planes sequence and some pretty high octane action. The submarine bit in particular, which is in the second hour, is relentless. I was squirming in my seat. Claustrophobia, underwater fear, all of that stuff. They work with it so good in this one sequence. Is it a bit ridiculous? Sure. But that is the point of these movies. And my wife even said, like, I was going, oh, that's ridiculous. That's not possible. I was like, well, it is Mission Impossible. So they do play into that from the Tom Cruise crazy stunt aspect to a T. Absolutely to a T. Are there drawbacks? Yes. Like I said, the beginning of the movie is rather draggy. If you haven't seen any of the Mission Impossible movies, maybe, sure. If you have watched all the Mission Impossible movies, maybe there is something for you there. But it also does just feel like, here is all of the exposition, and now after that, we're just gonna, just do the movie. Gabriel does have some really cringy dialogue. Okay, but I didn't need to know that. I already did. Like, you didn't need to tell me what I already know. Tom does it. Haley Atwell does it. Overall, the entire movie is just a fucking fun thrill ride. There's some great cameos. There's some great characters. There's the guy from Severance who is a submarine commander, and he's in here for quite literally just one sequence, as well as the editing. There's this really great fight scene, this dual fight scene that's happening. One's happening on a sub and the other is happening at a research center. And I love when editing isn't just in time with each other, but it's definitely one scene is moving as that action is moving. It is morphing into the next scene. That's storyboarding. There's definitely like at one point when there's like a slam with a knife or a fist, it goes from one scene to the other seamlessly. That shit's storyboarding. And that's what I like. I like to see that they're still using that kind of film theory and film making technique, because it really keeps you in with everything that's going on. Does it drag? No. Is it really long? Yes. And that's kind of the contradiction of this movie, is while it is hard to try and convince you to sit and watch a 3-hour long movie when the opening hour is a bit it's still worth it because of how fun it is. The Mission Impossible movies have never been known for fantastic storytelling. If anything that would be like really well done is the opening bit of 3 with the interrogation sequence, but that's also because Philip Seymour Hoffman is killing it in that movie. He still is the best villain of this entire series in terms of a performance perspective, but you just can't not have fun with the Mission Impossible movies, and that's the biggest thing. That's what Tom Cruise is all about, and regardless of how wacky doodle and crazy the man is, he knows how to make a fun movie. So in the end, that's pretty much it. I would say that if you have enjoyed the Mission Impossible movies up until this point, you will enjoy it. If you have never seen them, but you are a fan of action movies like this, you will enjoy it. If you don't like hokey dokey shit like this, then yeah, you probably won't enjoy it. But for me personally, I really did. I thought it was great. It was great to see it on IMAX. I highly recommend it. So in the end, I'm going to give Mission Impossible Final Reckoning a 5 out of 7. I thought it was really good. I still say that Fallout is the best one as an overall. Like the plot of that movie is like this small, but the action is this big. Yeah, I feel like if Final Reckoning is the last Mission Impossible movie, it's okay. I feel like it's gone on a good note. But anyways, guys, that's all for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, and if you're interested in more, subscribe. And until then, see you guys next time.